Welcome to the podcast, folks. Let's dive into air coolers. These units use evaporative cooling to naturally lower temperatures in hot and dry areas. They're
That's
energy
interesting.
efficient and really cut down on electricity usage compared to traditional AC.
So they work by evaporating water to cool the air, right? Kind of like nature's own air conditioner.
Exactly. It's like water evaporates from a saturated pad and absorbs heat from the air, cooling it down while
Right, got
boosting
it.
humidity. And there are different types. Desert air coolers designed for large spaces with big water tanks, personal units for one room, tower and window models, which are pretty handy for targeted cooling.
And each type suits different needs based on like space and usage.
Yeah, indeed. Desert air coolers come with huge tanks, up to 100 liters, and powerful motors to handle prolonged cooling in arid climates. Personal ones, on the other hand, are compact and portable, making them ideal for individual comfort in small spaces. Tower and window
Yeah.
models optimize space, with tower units often having remote controls and timers for convenience.
It sounds like the design makes them really versatile. But tell me, what about their performance in, say, high humidity? Because if the air is already moist, wouldn't that limit the cooling effect?
Spot on. Air coolers really excel in low humidity environments. In high humidity, performance drops because the air can't absorb much more moisture. Direct evaporative coolers, for instance, can raise humidity levels to 80–90%, which might be too much indoors.
That makes sense. So, does that mean indirect systems are better for humid environments?
Yep, indirect evaporative systems keep water out of direct contact with the air so they don't crank up the humidity as much. They use water-cooled coils, allowing heat exchange without over-humidifying.
Right,
Though
understood.
both systems shine in energy efficiency, air coolers can use up to 10 times less electricity than traditional AC. They do need a steady water supply.
And that's a challenge in places where water's scarce, correct? But wouldn't that also reduce overall environmental impact compared to high power systems?
Well, it's a bit of both. They are more energy efficient and lower operation costs, especially in dry areas. Yet, heavy water usage can be a downside in arid
Uh
regions.
huh.
Some critics argue that even with lower energy consumption, the water demand might offset some environmental benefits if not managed sustainably.
I see your point there. So, while they offer cost savings and lessen electricity demand, there's a trade off with water consumption and potential indoor humidity challenges.
Exactly. And then when you look at applications, they're used in residential settings, data centers, industrial cooling, and even emergency situations during heat waves. Their efficiency really makes them a smart choice where conditions line up.
That's
But the design
fascinating.
and material choices are also critical. Durable, weatherproof builds make a big difference in performance.
It's almost like tailoring a suit, right? You need the right fabric for the climate. But don't you think sometimes the reliance on water is a bit of a weak link in the chain?
I get where you're coming from, and it's a valid concern. You really have to weigh the pros and cons based on local conditions, climate, water availability, and the specific cooling demands.
True, indeed. And in the big picture, these air coolers seem like a smart, sustainable option when used appropriately. Their energy savings and lower CO2 footprint are definite pluses.
Absolutely. They provide effective cooling in dry regions and help reduce the electrical grid load. Plus, the added benefit of air filtration in some models can actually improve air quality. Just
Right,
remember to
that's a neat
balance
bonus.
operating costs with efficient water management.
This has been a really enlightening discussion. It seems overall, air coolers are a compelling, eco friendly alternative if we can manage the challenges right.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right solution for the right context. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay cool and sustainable out there.
Absolutely. Cheers.